Good morning, me. Welcome to the day. Oh, yeah, so I was telling Vishal about Avatar 3 trailer because he hasn't seen Avatar 3. Neither have I because it's not out yet. But you guess what the alien planet has? So you've got aliens, you've got the planet, and now you have volcanoes. And so Vishal hasn't seen Avatar, so I had to tell him the story of Avatar. It's about this violent, racist, misogynist named Jake Sully, and he's white, and he goes into a bar at the beginning of the movie, and like he sees an interracial couple, so he obviously has words. That ends in a big brawl, and he ends up paralyzed. But then he has a twin brother who's like actually sort of the opposite of Jake Sully. He's like a smart left wing libertarian scientist who's really progressive and stuff. And he goes, but he dies. And Jake Sully's the only match for his alien avatar body on the planet, the alien planet where the avatars are. And so he goes there and he gets in the alien body. And all of a sudden, he is amongst these like native people who are all peaceful and holistic and kind to each other and stuff. And he's just this aggressive, bullying, like psychotic, alcoholic, misogynistic racist who just bullies and aggressively asserts himself against all of the native people and makes himself their king. They didn't have the concept of a king before, but he made himself the king and ruler of like the avatars. And like he's played by this Australian actor who uh never drops his Australian accent and just keeps speaking with an Australian accent even though he's meant to be American. And so he'll be like seeing the big winged creature on the planet, he'll be like, "Oh shit, fuck, that's a big one." And then like he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna fucking catch that fucker." And like he's just speaks like that the whole time because he's played by the actor Sam Worthington. And so that's the story of Avatar. But oh no, so how Avatar ends is the Colonel character who's also a violent, racist, alcoholic, misogynist, like even decides that whoa, like Jake Sully's gone too far. We have to stop him. But then Jake Sully just like has him murdered because Jake Sully's a murderer. And then I was telling him about the Avatar 3 trailer where like Jake Sully now has a family and he has children and he teaches the children phrases, and so they're like, one of them is like, gender diverse and is like gay, and so they're standing there, the two teenage Jake Sully kids, and he's like, "Whoa, what does Dad always say?" And one of them's like, "Sullys don't cry." And then Jake Sully comes in and just smacks his gay kid and says, "Sullys aren't gay." And so that's going to be Avatar 3. But that's the story of Avatar. And now Vishal's going to tell everybody the story of Avatar. My other thought was, why not use trees? If you had like a 40-foot tree, could you not just use that as an electrical mast? You could just run like off a branch or something, like a you could just run a cable down and then have your yeah, antenna attached to that. Just don't ground it off at all to the tree or to the ground. And then you'd be able to harvest the atmospheric electricity using a tree. And you wouldn't even need to build a mast. Interesting, huh? So you got water engines, you got trees, you got what else can we do? Because Because I am king of the universe, and so everything I just say goes. And so Vishal said, but Dylan, you were going to tell me the story of Avatar, but instead you just told me the story of the Jews. I'm just like, yeah. Bloody Zios, the Ios, they're everywhere. Going to Christianize the world. Make them all bloody Christians, or make them all bloody Muslims. Because that's the answer. I don't know. I've just been thinking and wanting and just not trying to like feel need. Feel need isn't the best place to like do my best thinking, but definitely in my think want is like, I think I want. Not like, I feel I need. It's just about where your mind space is at. Mind space. Welcome to the dream theater. The theater of reality. What else was I going to say? Vishal's doing fine. And his mum called and it's like, oh, I got to go to bed. I called him and then he was like, oh, sorry I didn't answer straight away. I was masturbating. And I'm like, well, that's important. Like, and what else? He still hasn't sent his nude selfies to the Zuckerberg. Mark Zuckerberg's waiting for his nude selfies. I was thinking about my movie. Just after the opening scene, put together two characters who are going to bond and like also that can explain a bunch of the world and plot. Like, do some exposition. Establish a normal world that then gets like turned upside down by the introduction of the monster, which is Ned, and then they take control of the monster and use the monster. Yeah, I make use of this monster 'cause it's mine. Star, 1 star. The sun. The empire of the sun. There's nothing new under the sun. It's all been done before. Oh yeah, the guy's name was Rodney Norman. So I've got to watch Rodney Norman's comedy that he put on YouTube. Because his shorts are funny. And like, that's a good view to have on life and stuff. What am I looking at here? Selected CIPC publications. Look at that, that's Cambodia. ASEAN, Cambodia. So, yeah, it is interesting, like, the broader thing. Oh, yeah, and I solved what to do now. Like, because Charlie Church sucks. This is, enough is enough. Enough is enough, Charlie Church. This is how you do. So, who are the greatest villains of the past? The Nazis. And who are the greatest present-day villains? The terrorists. So what do? Combine the two. Nazi terrorists. Nazi terrorists. International Nazi terrorists. What about that? Hoax the fuck out of it and do good old-fashioned blowing shit up. Put that on the news. Not this fucking Thomas Sewell fucking hoaxy bullshit that you got going down here in Melbourne. I mean, what are you talking about? Burning Jews' cars? That's not that's not good terrorism. That's just a spark that lights a fire. Not this fucking shitty. Oh, Nazis are bank robbers trying to raise money. The Order movie that the fucking what's his name made with Jude Law and the other guy. I was seriously falling asleep in that. Just watching it on my couch, just like, holy fuck. Boring. No, no, no. They have a manifesto, they have a plan, they have everything, and it has to be stopped. And the good people of the world are vulnerable to this. Where are they being funded from? How is it being organized? Like, it's like the new big threat. That'd be so fucking perfect. And then cap it off with evil aliens after you've done that for like 10 years or whatever. That's how you propagandize and entertain and like keep the whole schmozzle that they're doing going. Because this left wing, right wing, abortion laws, like this is all. That's all just such peasant bullshit. I resent it. I resent all the social politics nonsense because you're supposed to just be individuals. And so if you're going to have a group identity, have like the good, free individuals of the world versus these like fucking methodical, organized, like, and they can be white too. That'd be fine. Because that's reaching into the past, it's so perfect. And like they can be like, we want to civilize the world, or like, we've got to re-establish order, it's for the fate of the entire, like, it'd be such a fucking good dialect. And it brings it back up. And on the basic level, the military got stuff to do, people got stuff to do. Oh, see, I should be king of the universe. Because if you're going to propagandize the plebes, that's how you fucking do it. Not Charlie Church bullshit. That's why I stopped watching the news. It's just not fun. Actually, it hasn't been fun for ages. I haven't watched the news actually in a long time. Sometimes they get stuff on. I think a lot of people like that. They're not watching the news. That's why all those late night talk show hosts are disappearing and celebrities dying and, whatever. Because, I mean, look at the pandemic and stuff. They could not. These late night talk show people and stuff were just helpless without their studio audience and their props and their, like, team of writers and stuff. You wouldn't get a Jimmy Kimmel or whatever getting many views on YouTube. Alright. I talked to Vishal. I gotta go to the gym, drinking my coffee, smoking my joint. Today's shaping up to be a pretty good day so far. And I like my life. I like doing stuff. And any cook person who watches this, you should too. But I'm really just going to watch this back because I'm amusing myself and I'm having fun and I'm doing my most basic thing, which is repetition, the most basic form of mind control. What was that guy saying to Jimmy? Oh, your government's just a criminal gang. It's like, yeah, it's one criminal gang versus another criminal gang. Like, yeah, that's why I always said my art is crime. Art crime. And they have decried some of my art as crime. Or madness. Now they're just saying it's madness. Because if you can't be controlled through, like, guilt, Because it's very important that you feel guilty. You not just say guilty, but feel guilty. You see, this is a great thing about having mental illness, is that you don't have to feel guilty because you've got mental illness. It's true. Because you can't have a guilty mind if... And a guilty mind is a very important element of crime. And if you're not guilty in the mind, then you can't be guilty of the crime. Allegedly. So that's why if you blow up a due anesthetist's car and had Dr. Sleep as a license plate, for your own amusement, like sports car, like if you were to do that, you'd have to be mad, or you'd be a criminal who would be in jail. But if you were clever, then you would just know how to pretend to be mad. See, that's where it just all gets in. And then, like, but because you're not making the decision about you being mad, it's like the psychiatrists. But psychiatrists, what do they know? Fake science? Because it's not like there's any proof, facts, and evidence that are relied upon to show a chemical imbalance in a brain, and then to show that application of said medication would correct the imbalance. There's no data on any of that. So it would be a bit of a fraud science. Machiavellian. You just be wise in the land of the fools. Be wise enough to play the fool. That was the Merry Men of Gotham. That's what Gotham City is named after. That's what... Oh, Batman. I'll just get fucking Batman. Yeah, Batman. It's all... See, this is good. That was good. That's why Joker is my favorite villain. But Spider-Man is my favorite hero. Yeah. The battle for New York has begun. Yeah, come on. I'm for Nazi terrorists. Like, that would just be the bee's knees of fucking propaganda. And because it was way more fun when it was us versus the terrorists. You know, just these bad guys. It's even, I see it in South Park and stuff, because it's making me remember earlier South Park. We've been watching, Vanessa and I have been watching South Park every week or 2 weeks whenever they're putting it out. And I'm not getting a bunch of the references because I don't know American politics that well. And doing Saddam like Trump, it's just, you know, it just makes me remember Saddam and like the terrorists and that. You don't need to do a war. Like, the war is what it was, the distasteful part about the whole thing. Like, even though it's hoax, blah, blah, blah. But, like, you can still mobilize and do, like, all this technology and, like, spend all the money and do all the things with Nazi terrorists. And things will explode, and there's, like, you know, drama. It just, yes, it's all hoax. Yes, it's all bullshit. But do that and then do the aliens. Like, this is how you entertain and, you know, keep from being enlightened. Because that was the goal of this ignorance tyranny, the tyranny of ignorance, where you just ignore the fact that there's free energy and like water and shit, and just like go on these stupid dialects and like. So if you're gonna do that with Nazi terrorists. That's my order as king of the universe: Nazi fucking terrorists, then fake evil aliens. I mean, real evil aliens.